Right now, right now. 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 Oh, I got a real good feeling.
We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been getting bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about a very promising bull flag that is painting out on the Bitcoin 4-hourly chart that points at $48,000. You heard that right. There is a pattern that is promising, but the bears have the bias. And today we're going to be talking about whether or not the bulls are going to be able to lead this market back to a yearly high and beyond towards all-time high, or if the bears are still in charge. We have been talking quite a lot about this over the course of our vacation over the last week. I brought you a lot of content on how Bitcoin was very much in an indecision point right now, and we're going to talk about that in just a moment. But I also want to give you the bullish case and the bearish case with the charts up so that you can see why we have to sit on the fence and say, look, Bitcoin has not really made a decision yet, but we could be just minutes away from making a major decision, because right now we are testing a large downtrend on the 4-hourly chart that, if broken, would likely lead to a major uptrend on Bitcoin, which could finally give the bulls the confirmation that they have been looking for. If you're new here, my name is Jeb McAfee. I've been working in the cryptocurrency space for over 6 years, and I love doing charting and technical analysis, and I also love teaching you guys about finance and investment and how to grow your wealth, especially here in the cryptocurrency market. So if you are new here, if you've just subscribed over the last week, we've gotten over 1,000 subscribers over the last week while we've been away. If you're new here, thank you so much for being here, and stay tuned because we've got a lot of great content coming. In fact, in just the next 2 weeks or so, we've got a big launch coming, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it. So let's read some chat, and then we'll jump straight on into the content. Alex Nibo came in first today, said good morning. Marley 120 Thirst is here. 123 Thirst, I never know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, is in chat. Joe Bollier, Sean O'Brien, Philly Skills 1428 said, yo, my guy Jeb is back at it. Yep, vacation's over. We're here. Queen is in chat. MD said, Jeb, tell me something. There you go. All right. Cloud9 Hostels in chat. Ernesto Flores is in chat. Queen again. Objectively Real Reality Objectively MD. Satchet321. DJ Morales is in chat. Said, hi, Jeb. Greetings from Portugal. Greetings from the States. Shout out to the Iberian Peninsula. Enrique Suave is in chat. Good to see you, my friend. Let's go ahead and jump straight on into CoinMarketCap, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the exploits that we got up to on vacation towards the end of the stream. But right now, let's get into what you came for. Bitcoin is trading at $43,000. It is up 0.3% in the last 24 hours, up 2.63% in the last 7 days. But even as you can see over on the side price action chart, the last 7 days have been largely nothing but sideways action. We have not seen very much bullishness or bearishness coming out of Bitcoin, which is always kind of nice when you're away on vacation and Bitcoin doesn't really do anything, because it means we didn't miss a whole lot. You didn't miss much for the last week. Obviously, there was a lot of content that went up on the channel and we covered it, but we didn't really miss the ability to cover anything live, which is nice. Ethereum is at 2310. It's up 3.17% in the last 7 days. Binance up at $300. It's down 1.47% in the last 7 days. Solana is at 97, up 1.33% in the last 7 days, but it has largely traded sideways as well, and it finds itself in what seems to be a descending triangle pattern, so we'll talk about that in a moment. Shout out to OMAC, Hall of Fame, Mike Lowry, Mark Schultz, Terry Shirley, Cappy M, Dax Brody, and everyone else who has just joined the stream. Thank you so much for being here today, guys. XRP is sitting at 50 cents. Cardano is at 50 cents as well. Cardano is, again, mostly trading sideways. It's pretty much the same story for everything until you get to Chainlink. Chainlink is up 35.17% in the last 7 days and has gone on a crazy run. The same thing can be said for Tron, although not quite as large of a run. Tron has gone into a major run, finds itself in an ascending triangle pattern right now, and is poised for potentially some kind of correction. We haven't looked at the charts too much, but on that yet anyway, but it very well may be. ICP is doing relatively well, up 4% in the last 7 days. Immutable X, a cryptocurrency that you guys are very excited about, up 16% in the last 7 days. And again, for the most part, the market is mostly, and I do say mostly, sideways. SWI is up 13.33%. Render is up 10.82%. Render's a very interesting project. If you guys haven't looked into it, it has to do with video and everything. Something to look into if you have not already. Come over here to the website and check it out. It's on Binance. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the overall zeitgeist of the market, the overall picture right now, and then we'll jump into the charts and really dig into what they are telling us. If you guys don't know, we're going to be starting off with our technical analysis, then we'll talk more later on about what the conclusions that leads us to. But first, let's set the stage. The very first thing that we have to understand about Bitcoin is that it has gone through a huge amount of adoption over the course of the last decade. Bitcoin a decade ago was this tiny nothing cryptocurrency that was a novelty that people thought, oh, it's cool, you can buy pizza with that. It was basically only Bitcoin, and the space was extremely young. Again, that's only a decade ago. In that decade, we've brought online hundreds of millions of users into the cryptocurrency space. Everything from people that buy and hold one time to people that make their entire lives earning in cryptocurrency, such as myself, such as the developers that are in crypto, such as the people that run the exchanges. There's an entire industry here. There are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of jobs that the cryptocurrency industry has created and brought about economic innovation, the likes of which we had not really seen in any other sector other than maybe other parts of tech. But in a way, we're kind of a subsector and a future sector for your last quarter or your last year. And say, what happens if I extrapolate that out 10, 20, 30, 40 years? Where will I be? Maybe if you're going to the gym every single day, in 40 years, you can reasonably say, and you're eating healthily, you can say, I'll probably be in pretty good health. I probably won't have heart disease. I'll probably have low healthcare costs, and that'll be good for me. If you read your Bible every day, you'll probably look out 40 years and say, all right, well, if I keep doing this, I'll probably be a pretty righteous individual. I'll probably be able to help a lot of people and really be a witness to people. If I do technical analysis every single day, in 40 years, I will probably really have a great understanding of these markets. If you make investments every week and you look out into the future, you say, hey, look, I probably will be a relatively wealthy individual. Nothing's guaranteed, not even tomorrow, but we need to look at what the last month, the last quarter, the last year is and what the trend is and extrapolate it. If we look at the last 10 years of cryptocurrency and we extrapolate that out to the next 10 years, I think we're going to 1 billion users, and I think we're going to a $10 trillion market capitalization at least. And we find ourselves in this pivotal moment in history where Bitcoin is absolutely exploding onto the scene. The SEC is being handed their butt on a silver platter, hand over fist. Every case they get into of any kind of note, they are getting absolutely demolished in. Bitcoin is going through huge amounts of adoptions. You've got BIP coming online. You've got so many cryptocurrencies. I remember when I started in crypto, CoinMarketCap listed 13,000 cryptos. Now it lists 2.2 million. Most of those will never see the light of the day. Most of them are nonsense. But the point is, the growth has been absolutely parabolic, even through the bear market in a lot of ways. And so if we extrapolate this out 10 years, where do we go? Well, we probably see Bitcoin trading well over $500,000. We probably see Ethereum trading well over $20,000. We probably see Solana at well over $1,000, probably $2,000. We might see Cardano at $10. Like I said, we've expected by the end of the decade. We've always been pointing at a $10 Cardano by 2030. There's a huge amount of growth going on here, and I want that to really frame all of the conversations we have on this channel, that this is an industry that is going about a huge amount of growth, and it's an industry that has helped a lot of people. It's an industry that is going to be able to bring decentralized identification so that people can actually prove their ownership. For example, I was reading in Genesis this morning where Jacob and Joseph are down in Egypt, and everybody had to sell their land. And well, how in 4,000 BC, 2.5, 3,000 BC, how do you tell who owns land? Right? How do you know that? Back in the day, all you could do is you could just say, hey, I've got 10 witnesses. They all say I own this. But otherwise, you got nothing. If they all die, if you know, a tornado comes through and they all eat it, you're done. You can't prove that you own anything because it's all by witness. That's how it is for a few billion people in the world. They can't actually prove that they own anything. It's just their word against this other guy. So somebody walks in and says, I own that land. No, you don't. I've had it for 4 generations. Well, we've got no witnesses. What do you do with that? There's no identification for 1 billion or more people in the world. There are real problems in the world that have been trying to be solved for millennia that we've not found solutions to, that cryptocurrency can bring about solutions for. And it's not just preventing inflation. It's not just about having instant communication financially. It's about so much more. And cryptocurrency is bringing so many solutions to so many people. And the fact that it's helping people in a financially viable way is the reason that it's so successful. It's the reason that we're here. It's the reason that no matter what we say on the charts, we should always be excited about the future of cryptocurrency, because the future's bright. All right, let's talk a little bit about the Bitcoin market. But before we get into it, if you're enjoying today's stream and you're looking forward to it, make sure to go ahead and hit that like button. Let's see if we can't get to over 100 likes before we really get started in the TA. All right. Oh, man, I've been excited about this because it's hard to explain technical analysis when I don't have a chart in front of me. So my opinion on the market is thus. Let's back up. We have had a huge rally on Bitcoin, where Bitcoin rallied from $25,000 all the way up to $49,000. We rallied $24,000 in 120 days. When the Bitcoin exchange traded funds launched, all 11 of them, we saw a huge amount of volume come into them. And with that in mind, we immediately saw a drop. And that was concerning to many people, but it was a sell the news event, the same way that we saw when the CME futures launched in 2017, and also the same way that we saw the Coinbase stock launch on April 15th, 2021. So it was a sell the news event, just like we've seen in past. And so that kind of makes sense. But the good news is it's not been a very deep correction. We've seen a correction from 49 down to 38. That's a 21% corrective movement, which is pretty much bog standard for this bull market thus far. We have been seeing 20 to 23% corrective movements over and over again, and we're currently in the fourth one, this being the third, and the one that we just saw being the fourth. Now, here's the issue. Whenever Bitcoin goes into a corrective movement, it has to find the levels that it's going to go towards, and we also normally are going to see it go through something called an ABC corrective movement. Over here in TradingView, you're going to find ABC right here. You've got Elliott Impulse Wave and Elliott Correction Wave. This is the way the market tends to move. It doesn't always move this way, but it is something that you generally want to keep in mind because it's a pattern that will play out quite frequently. If you look at this correction, for example, the first one in 2023, we had an A, B wave that actually led to a higher rally, and then a C corrective wave. There was your ABC. You could also draw it a different way, but I think that this would be a little bit less viable, like this. But generally, the market will have a B, C corrective wave. See that? Over here, this was almost more like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 corrective wave. But the point was there was at least 3 waves, 2 down, 1 up. In this case, there was 3 down, 2 up. Over here on this corrective movement, A, B, C. However you want to draw it. The point is there's typically a little bit of a bounce in the middle of the correction where the bears take a break. And that is where we are right now. We are in a little bit of a correction where the bears take a break. We've got our A wave to the downside, our B corrective wave to the upside, and then there's potentially going to be a C wave down to one of our 3 levels that we've talked about. Now, if you remember, ever since the day after trading started, ETF trading started occurring on the 12th of January 2024, we started talking about 3 different levels. We started talking about 32,500, and then a couple of days later, we started to include 2 other levels as well. The 3 levels that we're looking out for are these: 0.382 sitting at $38,000, 0.5 sitting at $35,000, and 0.618 to 0.65 sitting at $31,850 to $32,500. These 3 levels are critical because it's very likely that Bitcoin is going to run into one of them. Lo and behold, Bitcoin did run into one of them. It ran into the top one, $38,000. Duh, it's a lot easier to run into the top level than it is to run into the one below that or the one below that because it takes the least bearish pressure. But the reason that this is significant is because if we're right, and this is a B corrective wave, as we've seen in all 3 corrections throughout the duration of this bear market, then it means that we would likely see a C wave that would drop us to a lower level than the A wave dropped us to, which would bring us down to probably $35,000 or even this uptrending level of support, which is why I'm still hesitant to jump on the bandwagon with the rest of the cryptocurrency space, because pretty much everybody now is saying, look, guys, the correction is over. I don't just want to jump on the bandwagon, although I do want to acknowledge the gains that Bitcoin has had, but I also want you guys to understand that we are not necessarily out of the woods yet. For Bitcoin to prove that it's not just in a B corrective wave against the overall corrective wave, again, this is a correction against the primary uptrend, which makes this entire movement a secondary movement, which makes this a tertiary movement. That's the nomenclature that we use. If this is in fact a return to the original primary impulse wave to the upside, the B wave here, if this is actually a return to mean, then fine. But we need confirmation for that. And so what do? We have to define where the confirmation is. And if we go to a chart here and we look on the 4-hourly, we can find some different areas where confirmation would show up. I am currently placing confirmation of bullish reversal between 44.3 to 44.7, which is constituted by this high and this high. This is the zone of resistance that we used at the top of this symmetrical triangle pattern that we broke bullish out of, and then we corrected through. That zone between 44.3 and 44.7 is what I am saying needs to be broken for Bitcoin to confirm to me that it's back in an uptrend. I'm not saying that it has to get all the way to 49 to confirm that's back in an uptrend. I want to give it some confirmation before then, but I want to see that occur. Also on top of that, I want to see Lux Algo flip bullish. And as we can see, Lux Algo is still under a sell signal on every chart. We've got a sell signal that came into play. It'll load right here on the 12th of January. It's got a price target down here, which we hit, by the way. So it's very possible that we are done with this correction, but we have not confirmed bullishness yet. We are bouncing on the trend catcher, which is very exciting. So we're loving to see that. But again, Bitcoin has not confirmed its bullishness yet. My two confirmations that this is not just a B corrective wave that's going to move into a C wave further down. My two confirmations that that's not the case and that we're actually returning to the main trend is breaking 44.3 to 44.7 and then green trend catcher. I am not going to say that a trend reversed just because it's popular. That's something I promise you. I am not going to tell you something just because it's popular. I'm going to follow the principles and the technical analysis, and even if I'm the only one in the room telling you that, and even if I'm the only one in the room and then I come out to be wrong, I am still going to follow the principles, because following the principles and applying wisdom, which means having the understanding of how to apply the principles and having the understanding and the intuition and the experience in the market, I am going to continue to tell you what I believe is accurate, even if it ends up being wrong, even if everybody else is right and the bottom is in. That's okay. We only need to rally about $1,000 and I'll be on your side if you're a bull right now. Until that point, I'm still a bear, and I still am looking for that C wave corrective movement because Bitcoin has not finished dropping. Or, excuse me, because it is possible that Bitcoin has not finished dropping. Now, with that said, there is a very exciting movement right now that could send Bitcoin to $48,000, which is in the title of this stream. And I want you guys to know that that is a very possible reality that can play out. And I'm going to show it to you right now. We have a symmetrical triangle pattern forming on Bitcoin. You can see the symmetrical triangle pattern right here. Downtrending levels of resistance, uptrending levels of support. That gives us a symmetrical triangle pattern. In this case, because it is at the top of an uptrend, is what's known as a bull pennant, otherwise known as a bull flag. Remember, guys, to hit that like button if you're enjoying today's stream. This bull flag gives us a price target. For anyone who has gone through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, which you can find a link for in the description box down below, if you've gone through CT2A, then you will find that symmetrical triangle patterns that are on flagpoles, i.e. bull pennants, they can have a price target. You extrapolate the flagpole and you use that to discern the price target. So we have our bull pennant drawn. You can see the downtrending level of resistance, uptrending level of support. We would draw our bull pennant from this point because it is the low from which we saw the market begin an uptrend. Again, we did not have confirmation at this point that this was a market reversal, but in hindsight it was. So that's where we would draw our flagpole from. Then we simply extrapolate where the top is touching the top, and then we extrapolate where the bottom is touching the bottom on the most recent touch of the support. You see that? See how that works? My phone just died, so I can't see chat anymore. Apologies for that. If you guys say anything, I will look at chat here in just a few minutes. But we will go ahead and pull out this trend line and extrapolate. And as you can see, it is pointing at $48,300, hence the title. Bitcoin could rally to $48,000. I don't pull numbers out of you-know-where, guys. If I put a number in the stream, it's because I'm going to talk about it in... If I put a number in the title, it's because I'm going to talk about it in the stream. And I wanted to show you this bull flag. This is a very bullish sign for the bulls. As I said, I'm not going to necessarily follow the crowd. In fact, I'm going to do my very best to not follow the crowd. The crowd right now is very bullish. There is also a small crowd that is bearish right now. I want to give you the facts, bullish and bearish, wherever they lead, because I believe very firmly in a principles-based, wisdom-based approach to technical analysis. And there is an art form to it, but there is also a science to it. 48.3 is a price target of this ascending triangle pattern, of this bull flag. So if we break bullish here, then that would necessitate, not necessitate, but it would likely lead us to breaking our zone of 44.3 to 44.7, which would, if we broke 44.3 to 44.7, we would likely see Lux Algo flip bullish as well. We would see a buy signal. And at that point, we would have enough bullish confirmation to say that we most likely are now entering into an uptrend. And from that point in time, we would likely be able to trade this bull pennant, ride it all the way up to either this uptrending level of support, which has been in play for a very long time. So we shan't forget that. You can see this uptrend has been in play for a very long time, this red uptrend. So we'd probably either rally up to the red uptrend, as you can see right there, or all the way up to 48. So if you're a trader, and if we do break bullish out of this bull pennant, you've got a price target, you've got a potential trade entry. I just want to give you guys takeaways. I want you to walk away from these videos with takeaways. Here's a takeaway. Here's a possible trade entry. Something like this. I'm not going to give you the exact numbers, but you get the picture, right? That's if we break bullish. And there is another argument that we may be about to break bullish. That argument is this. In fact, I'm going to draw it a little bit differently. There's several different ways that you can draw this right now. But we more or less have a big inverse head and shoulders pattern forming right here. As you can see, we have a left shoulder. It's not the most beautiful head and shoulders pattern, but they rarely are. A head and a shoulder. It's not a great head and shoulders pattern, but it is technically a head and shoulders pattern. If we draw a price target here, then that likewise gives us a price target of about $48,000 to $49,000, almost to $50,000. These are both very bullish patterns, and if they play out, then I will likely flip to being a bull. My reasoning for still being a bear is that those patterns have not played out yet. And while there is a 70% likelihood on both of them that they will play out, combined together, that's a pretty strong chance. They have not begun to play out in that manner just yet. In fact, Bitcoin is correcting quite sharply here. When I said in the matter of minutes, when I started the stream, we were right up here, right here. We could have started the breakout on the stream. Bitcoin didn't. We've had a pretty sharp correction. The bears have come in strong. At some point, we will go bullish. At some point, Bitcoin will break $49,000, and I do believe it'll more than likely be before the halving, if at the latest, maybe a month post-halving, but it's going to happen soon. Is it going to happen this week? I'm not really sure. We need to see this take place. My goal is to give you guys the 3 levels above us, the 3 levels below us, tell you what I can see in the strength of the bulls and the bears, and then I can prepare you for all scenarios so that no matter what happens, you can be prepared. I don't want to be an analyst that only prepares you for the scenario that I think is going to happen, because I can be wrong. I'll give you my opinion, but my opinion means, you know what? You know how much my opinion means? Let me just count up how much my opinion means on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm there. It doesn't matter. It matters nothing. Like the market's going to do what it's going to do. Okay, what I want does not have any bearing on what the market's going to do. Same thing for you. Well, I want Bitcoin to go down because it'd be healthy for it. Well, I want Bitcoin to go up because it'd make me money. Bitcoin does not care. Unless you've got $1 billion to go trade on the open markets, to move the market, manipulate it, doesn't care what you want. Doesn't care what I want. So what I want matters that much, which is why it's my goal not just to prepare you for what I want to happen. It is my goal to prepare you for whatever may happen. So let's do that. If those bearish factors that we've talked about, i.e. the ABC corrective wave, come to pass, what should you do? Then we'll talk about the bullish, what you should do. I'm still in the camp of the bears until I am proven otherwise. That is my stance. But with that stance, what should we do? With that stance. Because the takeaway is more important than my opinion and my stance. If Bitcoin does drop down to one of these 3 levels, all 3 of them are excellent places to ladder into trades, or ladder into investments, If we drop down to 38, right before we break it, not after we broke it, but right before we break it, right around that level would be a great place to put in a lump sum, or to do your week's dollar cost averaging maybe early or a little bit late, whatever it may be. Again, if we drop down to 35, same thing. It is a great place to put in a lump sum into Bitcoin or respective altcoins, because the altcoins will follow Bitcoin. And if we drop down to this uptrending level of support, which is now going to eclipse 32,500, or if we drop down to 32,500 itself, that's another great place to put in a lump sum. On the trading side, if we fall down to these levels, if we fall through 38,000 and we fall back down to 35, if we bounce off of 35 and we come up to 38, once we break 38, an entry would be right here. And then you would be able to trade this up to another level of resistance, such as 42, or maybe even 40. So a trade entry, if we were to fall all the way down to 35, turn around, rally up towards 40, if you break 38, a trade between 38 to 40 is an option. If we broke all the way down to 32,500, and we bounced and we rallied and we broke through 3,500, then a trade between 3,500 and 38,000, I'm saying 100, sorry, 1,000. A trade between 35,000 and 38,000 is in order. These are all great trade opportunities, and we're basing all of this off of our Fibonacci levels over here, and also based off of visible range volume profile, which I've shown in plenty of other content. I'll show again here in a minute. But the point is, if you're an investor, each of those levels is a great place to put a lump sum in, or again, to just move up your dollar cost averaging, do it a little early. Or if you turn around and break those levels because you've fallen below them and then you are now testing them as resistance, those represent excellent entry opportunities for investment, for trades, excuse me. So if you're a trader or you're an investor, those, my friends, are your takeaway. Now, as for the bullish scenario, which many of you are excited about, as with the bearish scenario, I like to give 3 zones to pay attention to. Let's switch to a chart. The 3 levels that I want you to pay attention to are the zone between 44.3 to 44.7. There's also another zone up here that I want to bring to your attention. It is $46,000. It's right around here. It's the local top that we set right before the ETFs launched. It is also right up here smack dab in the middle of the VRVP. And then there's, of course, also 49. If you see a bullish breakout on this symmetrical triangle pattern or on that inverse head and shoulders pattern that we showed you, then a trade entry may be in order here with an early exit around 44.3 to 44.5, maybe exit a third of the position just to cover yourself and lock in some profits. From there, you could ride it up to 46, because if we break above 44.3 to 44.7, an entry, the market will likely go to $46,000. Okay, there's pretty much no moving averages up there, so don't worry about those. There's basically just levels. From there, by a VC. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to make the reference. But if we end up breaking through 44.3 to 44.6 and we break up to $46,000, there's a trade there as well. So if you don't want to enter on the break of this downtrend, then you can enter on the break of 44.3 to 44.7, rally all the way up to $46,000. And the same thing is true if you enter at $46,000, right above 46, and ride it all the way back up to the high. If we break 46K, we're probably going back to yearly high. And again, if we break $49,000, then you are probably going to see an exorbitant amount of hype enter into the cryptocurrency space, which will likely lead us all the way back to all-time high. We're going to break $49,000. I can say that not with 100% confidence, but with 95% confidence. I'm extremely confident that we are going to break above $49,000 at some point in the next 6 months. That being said, we don't know exactly the date for that, but when it does occur, there's a great opportunity for a trade, and there's a great opportunity for an investment. Whatever happens, I want you guys to be doing one thing, and I will go back to this over and over and over again. I want you guys to be continuing your dollar cost averaging, especially if we drop down to those levels that we've discussed, especially if we drop down to those levels. Be dollar cost averaging. If you do not have as much Bitcoin as you would like to have at the all-time high, not talking about the dollar amount, the Bitcoin amount. If you don't have the Bitcoin amount that you would like to have at the all-time high, and you have disposable money, disposable cash to put into the cryptocurrency space, or disposable cash flow, i.e. there's extra money in your budget every month, then set up dollar cost averaging. Purchase Bitcoin if you see that fit for yourselves. I'm not an individual financial advisor. I will give you my opinion. I will give you wisdom. I will even give you advice, but I'm not going to specifically tell you to buy a certain asset because, 1, that's illegal, and 2, I think you need to think about that and make your own decisions. That's one of the many reasons I have chosen not to become a financial advisor. I do what I do for a living, and I've thought about it. Unfortunately, if you become a financial advisor, you cannot talk about markets publicly as much as I do, so I would be losing my job if I got a financial advising license, because this stream would then become illegal for me, which is the only reason that I decided not to put 2 years into becoming a financial advisor. Not the only reason, but it was the main reason. So, if any of these scenarios play out, continue to dollar cost average, but the lower we drop, that's where you would put a larger lump sum. And of course, do not neglect the altcoins. There are a lot of altcoins out there in the cryptocurrency space. They're going to 5 to 10x or even more here in this coming bull market. Let's go ahead and read some chat, and then we're going to talk about some altcoins that I am excited about. Many of you guys have come to the channel via some of our recent content on altcoins. I'm very excited to be bringing you altcoin content here in this cryptocurrency bull market because there is so much value in all of them. If you guys have not seen some of our Climate of Crypto episodes lately, I would encourage you to go back and watch them. I have this video, Top 10 Altcoins to Make Millions in 2024. Make sure to go watch that video if you have not already. We've also got a couple of videos back here. My crypto portfolio to make $1 million in 2024. Make sure to check out that video as well. And my exact plan to make millions in crypto in 2024. Check out all of those videos because all of them are going to talk about different ways that you can deploy capital into a portfolio to generate wealth in the cryptocurrency space, because ultimately you are here for many reasons, but I'm sure one of the chief reasons among them is to generate wealth for yourself and your family. Cheers. All right, let's read some chat, and then we're going to jump right back into it. Shadrach Frost in chat said, as a CT2A member, I cannot stress enough on how investing in my knowledge helped me to make so many better decisions. I would highly recommend others to consider CT2A. Invest in your education. Absolutely. If you guys have not already checked out the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, that is the one-stop shop, and I do believe the best place in the entire industry to learn about the kind of technical analysis that you just saw me doing. If you go and check out CT2A with the link in the description box down below, you're going to be getting access to over 45 videos, almost about 50 videos, giving you high-quality training that has been vetted by thousands of students that have gone before you, that's going to teach you everything you just saw me to do. Everything you just saw me do on the chart, you will learn here in CT2A. Head and shoulders pattern, we've got them. Wedges and pennants, we've got them. They're both right there. Wedges and pennants, head and shoulders. You're going to learn how to do exactly what I just showed you in this content. Want to know how to set up a trade? How to plan and execute profitable trades. All right, want to talk about dollar cost averaging? Dollar cost averaging. All right, if you want to learn how to use technical analysis and apply it to your investing, then this is the place that you need to go. Check out CT2A at the link in the description box down below. Join over 5,000 students who have been learning how to apply CT2A and how to apply technical analysis to profitably trading and investing in cryptocurrency markets for over half a decade. This is one of the oldest, most well-proven technical analysis courses in the entire space. I don't know another one that's anything like it, so check it out down below if you have not already. All right, Jeb, if Bitcoin stalls at 49K, could we see a downtrend, maybe even to low 30s? Absolutely. And, you know, it's so funny reading the comments, because there's a lot of times when I go against the grain at all, everybody's like, oh, Jeb's a stupid head. Jeb's an idiot. Jeb doesn't know what he's talking about. Jeb, everybody's bullish. Why aren't you bullish? It's really funny, because I even made a video the other day, and I said that it was titled, my extremely unpopular opinion in crypto, and that's that I'm still technically bearish because I haven't been proven bullish yet, because everybody's so excited. Everybody's so hyped up. Everybody's so gassed up, like, yeah, we're going to all-time high. On what? On what right now? We're going to go there, probably this year, but what this week is making you think that that's about to happen right now? We're obviously in a correction, and we need to let that play out, and we need to stay bearish until proven otherwise. We've been proven bearish. Therefore, we must stay bearish until we are proven bullish. We have not been proven bullish yet. We have not. We have not. And so we should also keep in mind the last cycle where we rallied up to 0.786 level on Fibonacci. And then you know what happened? Bitcoin dropped by 70%. Who's to say that we aren't right here in the last cycle? Who's to say we're right here? Who's to say that? I think we're going to all-time high this year. But who's to say that our rally up to, you guessed it, 0.786, which is at $50,000, we rallied up to 49, so we basically touched it. Who's to say that we don't need to drop, maybe not 70%, but maybe 50%? Who's to say we don't need to drop down to 25 grand before we go to all-time high? We've got to use the full context. And the historical trend in context, the historical trend in context is that Bitcoin needs more, Bitcoin is in a position where it very well may need more correction, right? And so let's ensure that we are using wisdom and not just jumping on a bandwagon because it's popular. That is one of the most dangerous things you can do in cryptocurrency, is just blindly agree with somebody. A wise man looketh well into the way of his going, the Bible says. Look well into the way of your going. Store up wisdom and knowledge and discernment and understanding, and you will be blessed. Blessed is the man that stores up those things, and the woman that stores up those things. Let's read chat for just a minute, and then we're going to continue to talk about some altcoins that are of interest and some different patterns that I'm seeing there that I think you guys will be interested in. And please consider hitting the like button if you guys have not already. All right, let's see. Chance Nelson donated 99 cents. Thank you very much, Chance, for that. I really appreciate that, guys. DJ Morales said, Jeb, we have one inverse head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin. Yep. We talked about that. Stocks and stuff. That's a cool name. Said, this man is on a different level. I'm not sure if that means I'm on a different level of stupidity or on a different level of being good at technical analysis. I'm not sure. You'll have to tell me. I appreciate the comment either way. Apparently, I'm on a different level. Randomness said, dropping gems. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let's see. Alex Kaimana's in chat. Good to see you. Mike Lowry said, let's get those likes up, guys. Just press the button to help support Jeb. Thanks. Thank you so much, Mike Lowry, for all of your continued support and everything. over the years. And same thing to you as well, Leland. Good to see you, my friend. Brief Crypto's in chat. Good to see you. All of our regulars. Thank you, guys. Vacation was a lot of fun. I learned how to ski. I knew how to snowboard, but we went skiing. And I did 6 runs. And I about got myself killed, just like on a snowboard. But I had a lot of fun. I fell a lot. Didn't hurt as much. Falling on skis for some reason didn't hurt as much as snowboards. I don't know. I didn't do too much. Like I said, I only did 6 runs other than the bunny slope. We had a lot of fun. Saw a lot of waterfalls. We saw the tallest waterfall in the East. I believe it's the tallest of its kind, Hickory Nut Falls. If any of you guys have ever been there, it's crazy. Look up a picture of Hickory Nut Falls. It's 411 feet tall. Absolutely nuts. If you guys are generating wealth in the cryptocurrency space, use some of it to go and see the world. Go see the beautiful creation that God put out there. It's so amazing. The world is a beautiful place. All right, BTC is like the sea. All ships rise with the tide. That's right. The current politics and U.S. debt is concerning, to say the least. Yep, absolutely. Back up the truck at 25. 25K would be glorious. Yes, I know. All right. Let's go ahead and read. Let's go ahead and look at some altcoins. I want to start off by looking at Solana. Let's take a look at Solana. And by the way, I want to give a shout out to Pew Pew Poom too, because you're like a supporter, but you're also like, I can tell you want me to succeed. Jeb, you know your BTC, but your altcoin list is sad sauce. What altcoins am I missing there? Tell me. It's one of those things where sometimes you can tell that somebody loves you and cares about you if they're correcting you, or if they're saying, hey, try this, hey, do that. For some people, that's a love language. So shout out to Pew Pew Poom too. You're always here. Thank you for supporting the channel. All right. Let's take a look at Solana because it's got a lot of interesting technicals. First and foremost, is a big head and shoulders pattern, inverse head and shoulders pattern forming, which is promising. We have a shoulder level right here. Sorry, a neckline right there. We have a shoulder level right here. And we have an inverse head and shoulders pattern price target that points, you guessed it, back to all-time high, back to yearly high, up to $140. So that's exciting. On the shorter term time frames, it is in a descending triangle pattern. As you can see, it's a pretty steep one. It's technically like a symmetrical triangle pattern, but it's a lot closer to a descending triangle pattern, so we're going to call it a descending triangle pattern. But it is at the end of an uptrend. So there's a lot of confliction going on here. You've got an inverse head and shoulders pattern similar to Bitcoin that's pointing up. You've got the fact that we have a bull pennant because we have a bullish trend line moving into the pennant, but the pennant is bearish. So the pennant is so it's a descending triangle pattern, which is actually bearish. So you've got 2 for bullish, 1 for bearish. Overall, the bulls win on that, but it was an interesting pattern I want to show you because sometimes the charts are going to look like they contradict each other, and that's because they do. The technical analysis will contradict itself very often, which is where the confusion comes from. But ultimately, overall, the Solana chart right now, I would say, is relatively bullish. If you were to grab a curve here, which if you didn't know, you can grab a curve. It's been a while since I've used one. Oh, they moved it. Oh, no, they didn't move it. I'm just forgetting where it is. Where's the curve? There's the curve. I've only been using TradingView every day for 6 years. You'd think I'd know where this stuff is by now. Here we go. You can see there's kind of a curve right here going on. It doesn't perfectly match, but you can kind of see the curve where the highs have started to reverse. And hopefully this will be the bottom for Solana. It might not. You know, if Solana does go through corrective movements, there are price targets as low as $50. But Solana dropped all the way down to its 0.618. Sorry, it's 0.65 level at $78 and bottomed out. We're happy about that. So we shall see. It rallied up to 0.786. The whole market is right up here at the top, guys. The whole market's sitting up here like on a teeter-totter. It's very high. It really looks like it needs an overall market correction of probably a couple $100 billion at least. But we shall see. I'm not convinced that we're going into the next massive bullish uptrend until I've actually been convinced. And I have not been convinced just yet. So pretty interested in what Solana is doing. We'll want to keep a lookout for that. Shadrach Frost, who's been a member for 2.5 years. Wow. Wow. Said, I really appreciate your honesty in all your TA. Thank you for your hard work, dedication, and passion that you bring to us. Hashtag HODL, hashtag AdaGang, hashtag DCA. Thank you so much, Shadrach Frost. You have been here through thick and thin. Really appreciate all of your, through all the years. Thank you. Verhoofty Flufen said, wow, that sounds amazing, Jeb. Yeah, we went skiing in Ober-Gallenberg, over in Gallenberg. So that was a lot of fun. Our Airbnb was 2.5 hours away, so we had about 6 hours of driving that day. I have driven about 1,500 miles in the last week. No, shoot, probably more than that. Gosh, probably more like 2,200 or 2,300 miles in the last week. I've been driving so much because we thought there was going to be a bunch to do around Lake Lure, but it's very much a summer spot, so there's not much to do at all. So everything that we wanted to do was at very minimum an hour away. So we were in the car like 6 or 7 hours every single day. Ugh. I never thought I could get tired of driving. It happened, though. Okay. Pew Pew Poom 2 said, Jeb, a lot of those coins are old narratives from the old cycle. You're missing ZK Sync error coins, TSW, all the new, faster, and more innovative blockchains. Let's see. You say Inge, Pyth, Camino, Manta, Mantle, Lena, C, SEI, say. Yeah, I will look into more. I'll look into more of those. But yeah, interesting. I don't know if a lot of them are old narratives. I think a lot you've got to balance the opinion that there is new technology, but there is also adopted technology. And there is plenty of technology that is new and is technically better that is not adopted because because there is a certain network effect for technology that you have to reach. And with many of the newer projects, that carries risk because the question becomes, are they going to achieve network effect? Are they actually going to become adopted because they may be superior to what's already out there? But is it superior enough to cause everybody who just spent 2 years building on another blockchain to go and build on yours? That's why you're having such an issue with older cryptocurrency projects that are built on Ethereum moving to the new blockchains. That's why Ethereum is still such a huge project, even though it just barely became proof of stake a couple of years ago. You've got to factor in economics and business, not just the technology. Although technology is great, and many of those projects probably will do very well, so I will look into some of them. All right. Mean Beam Okerlund said, hello all. Joel said, the best altcoin is BSV. Why do you think that? Why is BSV the best altcoin? I want to understand that. Why is Bitcoin SV, Satoshi Vision, why is it the best altcoin? I would love to hear your opinion on that. Not trying to be a smart aleck. I don't like the project myself, but I don't in any way mean to put you down. I want to understand. Wise man seeketh understanding. Weren't they Coinbase in support for Bitcoin SV? Expo. Okay, so they got taken off of Coinbase 2 days ago. So that's interesting. I didn't hear about that. In an X post on February the 3rd, Coinbase shared that it has officially withdrawn support for BSV on its platform. The announcement follows a previous post in December when the exchange first communicated its intentions to delist BSV. Ouch. According to Coinbase, all BSV remaining in customers' wallets has been liquidated and replaced with an equivalent market value of another asset. However, the exchange states that certain wallets may not receive any compensation assets due to the transaction costs associated with the liquidation and replacement process. So that's probably if you've got like $1 of it, they're just not even going to bother. So yeah, I would love to hear why that's the best altcoin. Love to hear. Try the new casino machines, Jeb. Lol, mom played the same slots and she come home in the green. What, John Doe? Are you talking about it like Ober-Gatlinburg? Are there slot machines up there? That makes sense. That makes sense. Some grandma watching the grandkids while the parents ski. They're out there. Ding, 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 777. Yay. All right, guys, we're going to talk for a couple more minutes here, and then we're going to wrap it out. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. Wilton Wolverton is in chat. Said, hello. Hi. Ryan Kessler said, I'm hoping the previous projects have a roadmap to future success. I'm happy to hold the old coins and try to find new legitimate projects. That's my theory. So, Warren Buffett is one of the richest men on the planet, and people really don't like him. And you know what? There's some places I disagree with him. But you can't deny that the guy's got some wisdom. He's been on the earth longer than you and I both combined have been alive, more than likely. I mean, the dude's older than dirt, literally. The dirt under my feet's been here for like 7 years. He's older than that. Right? He's probably older than the dirt that you're standing on, too. Dude is literally older than most dirt in America, probably. And one of the things that Warren Buffett learned that made him very rich is that in the, was it the 60s, the 70s? He and Charlie Munger got together. I don't remember when, but it was like 50, 60 years ago. He and Charlie Munger got together because Warren Buffett would invest in startup projects that had questionable fundamentals. They might have had a great idea. Everybody's got a great idea, but they might not have really been adopted. They might not have really had a great team yet. They may not have had all the pieces in place. Charlie Munger convinced him to go about it a different way. And instead of picking on high potential, high risk projects, pick projects that are strong projects. They are solid projects that are going to that are already doing very well. That are already doing very, very well. Pick Ford Motor Company. Pick Toyota. Pick blue chips. Dump money into them. Make money in other ways. Bought Berkshire Hathaway, one of the biggest companies on the planet now. All right, make money in other means and just dump it into good projects that are already well established and have every reason to continue growing. Because there's a certain network effect. You and I don't have the money to go start an oil company. I don't have $100 million to go start an oil company. So if I come up with XYZ oil company, just because I've got a cool idea, like, oh, I found this new oil field. Well, great, but do you have the team? Do you have the knowledge? I don't know how to drill for oil. Do you have an engineer? Do you have 20 or 30 roughnecks to go out there and build it? Do you have the drilling equipment? Do you have $100 million? Do you have everything that you need to go and do that? No. Okay, well, go buy BP. Go buy Shell. I'm not saying those are good investments. I haven't looked at their charts. I'm not an investor in them, but it's a point I'm making here. Buy the companies, and in this case, the cryptocurrencies that already have access to new fields, that already have the ability to compete. The days of one singular inventor in his basement somewhere coming up with revolutionary technology are largely over. It is mostly, at this point, large companies and institutions and conglomerates and hundreds of researchers or blockchain developers coming together that are inventing massive new technology. Every once in a while, something like Satoshi Nakamoto comes along and single-handedly or with just a small team invents something new. But for the most part, it's the big guys that are actually driving innovation because the world is so complicated. So if you want to be successful, I highly recommend you start off and put at least 70% of your investments into projects that already have the ability to get out there and get after it. How much easier is it for a farm that has 1,000 acres, 50 farmhands, 20 tractors to say, we're going to go and start farming 1,000 acres of land? More. Versus me, who has none of that. I've got a truck from 20 years ago, right? Me, who I've got no experience farming. How much easier is it for the farm that already exists to go and do more farming and double than it is for me to go and do that? Way easier. And so if you invest in those coins and hold them for 20, 30, 40 years, you will end up being extremely successful. And by the way, a lot of people are also thinking, well, wait a minute, Jeb, they've already done so much of their growth. Right? Think about it for a second. Right now, this is like, let's use the analogy, let's analogize crypto right now to the United States. If you were to invest in, what's a company from 250 years ago? There's a beer company from 250. What's a company in the United States from 250 years ago? Right, there was, that is like Samuel Adams. Let's just use Samuel Adams. When was that founded? 1984. What? Okay, I'm completely wrong. What is the oldest beer company in there? Yuengling. There we go. Yuengling. Founded 1829. There you go. Yuengling Brewery. Let's say Yuengling, which, God, they've got some Hershey's. Ugh, not my favorite beer. I don't drink beer very often, but I'm not a fan. But anyway, they were founded in 1829. Let's say you come along and it's 1843. This is an old buck. They've been around for 14 years. They've already grown. They're already the big dog. We got to go find this new smaller brewery to invest some money in because they've got to compete. They've got to be the underdog. They've got to go up against Yuengling. Yuengling is in business nearly 200 years later. They were already established. It's so much easier for an established brand to grow than it is for a smaller brand to grow. That's why you have all of these stories of investors scoffing at companies that later become Apple because it happens sometimes. But it doesn't happen very often. Normally, the best place to invest in a project or in a company is when it has already proven itself and it's got a few years of a track record under its belt. And it has a proven model that you can guarantee is going to continue to work. And then you ride that sucker into the Fortune 500. And in cryptocurrency, a lot of those projects that I'm talking about are the ones that railroad companies go back 200 plus years. Exactly. The U.S. Post Office, right. Then what you end up doing is you invest in those companies that already have some footing under them. It's not that you can't invest in Apple when it was in a garage. You can. But don't expect that that's going to be how you're going to make it to riches. You want to invest in projects that are already proven, but they may only be 5 or 10 years old. I understand if you don't want to invest in a Ford. It's 150 years old. I get, not 150, but 125 years old. I get it. But a project that's 5 or 10 years old and has a lot of adoption, is moving in the right direction, doesn't have to be an old buck. It can be a super valuable project in 20 years, but you've got to expand your time horizon. You've got to have some more patience. Gatlinburg is my favorite place to vacation as well. Love hiking in the AT. The Appalachian Trail is beautiful. Wilton Wolverton said, thanks for having one of the few non-hypey channels with real value. That's what we're trying to bring. I appreciate it. Brian Meadows said, love your show and your representation of a true Christian and not afraid to share your faith. I'm not. Hey, look, it's this simple. And for all of you Christians watching, I'm just going to be straight with you. Listen up. Jesus says, if you are ashamed of me, I will be ashamed of you. If you shirk my name in front of people, in front of man, I will be ashamed of your name in front of the Father. That's a paraphrase. But that ought to scare you. So if you're a Christian in hiding, right? You're a Christian in hiding and you're scared to tell anybody. I love you, and I'm going to tell you this because I want you to not get to heaven and Christ be ashamed of you. Quit hiding. Have the boldness. Go read Acts chapter 2, 3, and 4. Go have boldness. Share with people your faith, even if it gets you fired. Because the opinion of your God matters much more than the opinion of your boss. All right, just putting that out there. Josh Aparicio said the U.S. Post Office. Yes. All right. Victor Guzman is the one that said railroad companies go back 200 plus years. Absolutely. All right, let's see. Give me some... let's see. Jesus wept. Amen. Hey, Jesus loves you. Jesus loves you. But listen, the reason that we need to turn from our sin and repent and come to him is because when we sin against someone, we break our relationship with them. If I walk up and just smack the heck out of somebody, you think they're going to want to be friends with me? That's going to break the relationship right there, right? Not that Christ will turn the other cheek and he still loves you, but that puts distance between you and him when you don't follow his commandments. So we need to obey him and we need to love him, and we will be blessed for it. Guaranteed. I guarantee you, if you give your life to Christ, and then, in that order, give your life to Christ first, and then you obey him. Just obeying him isn't enough. You've got to give your life to him. If you give your life to him and then you obey him, I guarantee you, and every single one of you will end up eventually knowing I'm right. I promise. If you give your life to him and you obey him, you will be blessed. There's not a single person watching this stream that will not eventually know that I'm right on that. Tesla is the best bet over the next 10 years. So many different use cases. Please do your own research. Yeah, Tesla is a pretty huge company, and they've got a lot of growing that they're going to do because they're a lot more than a car company, as you hear everybody saying. All right, guys, we are going to wrap it out. I hope you enjoyed today's stream, and if you have not already, make sure to check out the sponsor of today's stream, NordVPN. You can find them right down there. If you go to the top of the description box down below, you're going to find the link to NordVPN, and I want you to go sign up for it. The reason is because if you sign up for NordVPN, you're going to be getting access to security architecture that will help to protect you while you browse online and also allow you to browse freely, because what a VPN essentially does is it shields your IP address, which keeps your information as private as possible while browsing the internet. Having privacy online is a very important thing because it'll help to keep you safe, it'll help to allow you to browse freely, and it will also help you to retain your privacy. So make sure you sign up for NordVPN and protect yourself from hackers that are out there right now trying to steal your cryptocurrencies. They're trying to steal your passwords. They're trying to steal your logins. They're trying to send you phishing emails. They're trying to get you to click on links. They're trying to do all these things. They're trying to track your IP address. They're trying to get you. All right, there are evil people out there that are trying to steal your cryptocurrency. And there are tyrannical governments, tyrannical banks, etc., that are trying to tell you where you can and cannot go on the internet. And to some degree, I'm not an anarchist. There should be laws. But at the same time, we, at the end of the day, are responsible for our own decisions. So make sure that you sign up for NordVPN and protect yourself online and browse the internet freely. Use the link in the description box down below and sign up for a 2-year plan and do it all risk-free with a 30-day money-back refund guarantee. Shadrach Frost said, folks, please smash that like button right away. It takes a second and really helps this channel. Give back to love and support that Jebs brings to us on a daily basis. Thank you, friends. Yes, thank you guys so much. Colin McDonald said, we're all in this together, so let's help each other. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Before we go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good